Irashaimase! Hello and welcome to Fitaurus' Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and today is also a special day. It's Valentine's Day. Since it's Valentine's Day, I decided I'd pick something for the menu that was kind of related to love, and that game is Galgun, a rail shooter developed by Indie Creates and published by Alchemist. Originally it was released on the Xbox 360, but we'll be going and playing and having a look at the PlayStation 3 version, which was, I guess an enhanced version of the original title. It goes and adds some additional modes and characters to it that weren't in the original 360 version, as well as going and removing some censorship patches that were added in initially. Not that this game, I feel, is as objectionable per se as some of the fare that does go and exist as far as video games in the realm of ecchi are these days, but just upskirts and panty shots, and that's about it. So fair warning on that. This video will go and contain plenty of such. So if you're opposed or not interested in that, then you should probably go and skip this one. But otherwise, if you want to go and stick around, then let's go ahead and find out what kind of taste this one has. Alright, here we are at the main menu of Galgun. We'll go over the modes before we go and jump into the story real quick. So first off, we've got the main mode, story mode of course. The second mode, which is one of the ones that was added to the PlayStation 3 version, score attack mode. Doki Doki Carnival, also added to the PlayStation 3 version. Mizunaka mode, which I haven't unlocked yet. Scoreboard, you can go and have a look at scores on the internet. Collection, it goes and allows you to go and look at which profiles you've gone and collected for the various girls. We'll go over that in the gameplay itself. Dressing room, you can go and change outfits for the main heroines as well as the other girls in the game. Gallery allows you to go and look at some art pieces as well as unlock other parts of the game, and of course options for your system options and the like. Alright, let's get started. So we've got the choice of beginning from the beginning or going and continuing a run that we've gone and already started. We'll start from the beginning, of course. And it asked me if I want to go and do that. Yes, I do. Two difficulty modes, beginner and expert. There's differences depending on what you want to go and do. If you're going for a high score, going and shooting for taking the expert mode would probably be a better way to go. But for our purposes today, we'll just go with beginner. And here we are in the opening cutscene of Galgun. We have our apprentice angel Patoko going and trying to complete her final examination to go and become a full-fledged love angel, as it were. So she's going and taking aim with her crossbow at our character, Tenzo. So she's been sent to go and help Tenzo go and find love by going and shooting him with a Cupid's arrow. And she pulls the trigger, and her crossbow malfunctions, resulting in the unfortunate position of us going and getting hit by 16, I think is what she goes and says, Cupid arrows. So, because we've been hit with so many Cupid arrows, our love fortune is now overloaded. We have to go and find love before the day is ended, or our character Tenzo will go and be forever alone. Also, because we've been hit with so many arrows, we're going and emitting a metal aura. Basically an aura that goes and makes us irresistible to the opposite sex. So all the girls in the school are now like head over heels over Tenzo, going and like rushing towards him to go and try and confess their love. But in our defense, we go and now have something called the pheromone shot, where we can go and shoot pheromones at the girls that are trying to go and assault us and confess their love to us. And if we hit them enough times, or go and hit them in their weak point, and they go and collapse in ecstasy. Kind of an odd system, I'll definitely admit. Ah! I'm being, like, ganged up upon. Then, once they've gone and collapsed, they disappear in flowers, but don't worry, they're okay. They'll usually go and pop back, I see sometimes multiple times in the same stage. Alright, now here Patoko goes in, jumps out to go and introduce herself and kind of go and explain the situation, what she's gone and done, and she wants us to try and go and find love before the day ends, because her fate's tied to ours as well. If we don't go and end up with somebody, then we're alone for the rest of our lives, and, well, she's gone and failed her angel examination. I wonder, out of those two options, which one is the, like, more raw deal here, but oh well. So, ultimately, you agreed to go and help her because, hey, it's your love life on the line here. So, she goes in and wants to go and know a few questions about us, basically just to go and form some parameters, to go and, that some of the rewards, titles that you go and get for completing stages are based off of. So first off, she's asking us if we like to go and study. We love to study! So then she asks how many hours per day. How fast we are. Like, we're very fast. How fast she goes and asks we can go and run the 100 meter in 8 seconds. Which she's amazed at. Fashion is very important to me. We change underwear 3 times a day. Yeah, that just... why? That's just insane. And last but not least, how many ecchi you have under your bed? ... And then she goes and asks how many. We'll go with the most absurd. We'll go with 1,000. Once again, she is taken back. And based off those answers you go and give, you go and have these stats that are given to you. Really irrelevant for anything else other than just trying to go and unlock titles. So if you're going and doing the completionist trophy run, that'll be important to you. But otherwise, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so here we have the 4 main heroines that you can go and choose between to go and confess your love to. So we'll go ahead and take a second to go through all of them. So first off, you've got your childhood friend and also a shrine maiden, Nonomiya Kaname. Next, if I can get it to move the right direction, yay! We've got Hibuki Akira, a fellow classmate who also happens to go and be kind of like a self-styled hero of justice for the school, walks around carrying a bokken. Kind of dangerous, but whatever. Wrong direction. Here we've got Sakurazuki Karuko. She's a rich heiress to the school, also 1 year above you. And last but not least, we've got Uno Aoi, who is a year younger than you and happens to go and have her own little rock band. And you go and, through the course of her story, you go and help her with going and putting on lives, that sort of thing. Anyway, for the sake of our just going and showing off the game, we'll go ahead and start with just the basics of Kaname's route. Now loading. For the most part, the loading times, they do go and pop up somewhat frequently, but they don't take very long to go and load, which is definitely a plus. So here we are at the main gameplay of Galgun. So it's a rail shooter, so we're going to move it along preset pass, and we're moving along preset pass, and we go and have all of these various girls going and coming and running at us along those paths. The girls can go and get us in 2 possible ways. If they go and yell things at us and we go and get hit by the letters, that'll go and deal damage over here. Our life is this circle with the Tenzo right there. Or if they go and come up to us like I'm going to let this girl go and do and actually give us a love letter like that, that'll also go and deal damage. So we want to go and have we want to avoid that. We want to avoid all these girls confessing to us till we get to the point to go and be able to go and confess and guarantee true love on our end. So also, as we're going through and shooting all these girls, we're going and building up gauge here. before I forget to go and mention, the girls take several shots to go and take down, unless you go and hit their weak point, which is indicated with like a Kyun or Piku or some sort of sound effect that goes and pops up when you go and move the reticule over their weak point. Hit them in their weak point, and it's one-hit drop to ecstasy, referred to, of course, as an ecstasy shot. Kind of an odd system, but definitely unique and fun in its own way. Brief loading screen as we went and moved to a different section of the school. So being that it's a rail shooter, points are important, and you can go and get higher point values if you're able to go and chain together ecstasy shots and whatnot. And also if you're able to go and get several right in a row, that'll also go and give you a bonus score as well. I tell you, some of these girls are just absolutely crazy and trying to go and confess their love, going and jumping off of multi-story school buildings. We got to admire the persistence and the sheer athleticism that's being displayed here. The character designs for the main cast are definitely cute, but unfortunately there's like so many girls that some of them are a little bit generic, and it's not always easy to go and pick one apart from another. Between the 3 school years, there's 68 students, not counting the main heroines. And in addition to the teachers, there's well over 70 characters in the game here. Alright, so we've made it through the first stage, and now we go and run into our first encounter with Kaname. As I mentioned earlier, she's a shrine maiden, so she goes and sees a dark shadow behind us. It's not actually that dark of a shadow, it's actually Patoko, but she's worried that we're possessed or something like that. She's trying to go and help cleanse us, as it were. So a lot of the game itself is based on these visual novel-like scenes, and you have dating sim choices that you can go and make to go and raise affection for the various girls that you're going and trying to confess your love to. As you go and raise your affection, it goes and opens up the possibility of the good end and then the true end, which all the girls go and have. So here we've got 3 possible answers. One will go and raise affection, one will go and lower it, and another is kind of a neutral answer. And so we're trying to get to the point where in addition to going and raising affection, in order to go and get the true end for the girls, you have to go and perfect at least one of their 2 mini boss action stages that go and come up throughout the course of the game that are different from your normal run and shoot the girl segments. I'll go ahead and take a second to go and show off some of those here in a second. But here, we were going and having a little bit of a backwards conversation with Kaname and also with Patoko, and going and asking why the metal aura wasn't going and working on Kaname, and just going and being given some excuses by Patoko as to why it might not go and be working. And then she goes and suggests we go and deploy the Doki Doki field, which goes and focuses in on the girl so that you can go and focus in, shoot them with your pheromone shot. It's a little bit different for the main heroines than it is the girls in the stage, the normal girls in the rest of the stages. So I'll go ahead and take a second to go and show that here in a sec. But I think I'll go ahead and call this part good for now. And we'll go and move on and show you what some of the other stages are like. Alright, so here we are at the score attack mode. Here you can go through each of the girls' routes individually with the visual novel dating sim aspects removed, so you're just going through, kind of going and score attacking the main routes itself, and you also have the option of going and selecting the individual stages themselves. So we'll go ahead and do a couple run-throughs of some of the different locales on the school so you can kind of see what kind of areas you're running around as you're trying to defend yourself from the love confessions of crazy schoolgirls while you're trying to go and confess your own love. So here we'll go ahead and run through and have a look at one of the pool sections of the game itself. Like it's not easy for you to go and stay hidden. Rushing. Gotta go and confess that love. Senpai! That was close. I almost got shot there. Or hit. Hit with love. No, Tsukuga. Here we are in the music room of the school, trying to go and fight off all these girls going and confessing their love to us. It's also a perfect time to go and show off the Doki Doki mode as it pertains to one of the normal girls in the school, not one of the ones you're trying to go and confess to. So in Doki Doki mode, we go and excuse me, focus on one girl individually, and we're trying to go and build up that meter that's on the left there, pointing towards the heart. We do this by going and moving around and shooting the pheromone shot at different parts of the girl. As you go and move it around, you go and see that big, like a Doki Doki that goes and comes out. The larger the Doki Doki is, the more effective a shot there would be. But if we go and we can go and zoom in to go and focus on that area. Or also, so the further we go and zoom in, the more effective the shot is. But if you go and zoom in or stay focused too long on a particular part of the girl, she'll go and throw up defenses like that there. So, just a quick side note, the game goes and boasts that it has 423 different patterns for the panties that the girls go and wear. Just a random little bit of trivia. Maybe not so random, considering the game. So going and successfully going and completing the Doki Doki mode with a girl will go and unlock part of her profile. Hopefully I can go and successfully complete here. Yay! So once you go and have the heart filled here and it's starting to go in Doki Doki, you can go ahead and end that with like the triangle button. And they go and explode in ecstasy with hearts. If you go and haven't unlocked parts of their profile, it'll unlock their profile, and you unlock more of the profile the more times that you go and get them into Doki Doki mode in a run. So you have to kind of be looking out for the same girl throughout a run. And then it goes and affects the other girls that are on the immediate screen, if there are, let's see, some with the Doki Doki ecstasy effect as well. And it put me into an ecstasy mode fever there. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to a different part of the school. So, as you go and play Galgun, you do spend a lot of time going and moving through the hallways trying to go and find the girl that you're trying to go and confess to. And of course, going and dodging all the hordes of girls trying to go and confess their love to you. So many girls. So there's a lot of time moving through the hallways like this one here. There are also other areas like the school cafeteria, which is just chock full of girls. A dangerous, dangerous place for a man trying to avoid confession. Oh, I thought I totally got her. Also, the school library, which is chock full, once again, of girls going and hiding around every corner, waiting to go and confess their love to you. Like those twins, who are everywhere. You also go and get to do some running around on the school grounds, going and getting chased by girls and teachers alike. The teachers are definitely kind of tough because it takes several, like at least 10 shots before you can actually take them down, even with an ecstasy shot. There just must be that much tougher and resistant to your Meadow aura and your pheromone shot. All of this running around to go and encounter the girls you're trying to confess to and getting boss stages or other events with them. Let's go ahead and show you a couple of what those stages are like. Here we are at the start of one of Kaname's minigame action boss stages. This one is kind of an interesting one. So she's trying to go and find a book to go and help deal with her perceived curse that we were going and being afflicted, or the perceived curse that she believes we're afflicted by. So we're going and trying to help her go and find a book with her in this rather, and also keep her steady in this rather compromising position. And she also has another boss stage, which we'll go ahead and hop to. Yep, she also goes and there's this boss stage that's an actual boss. So, if you accidentally go and shoot her, she'll go and fire off words at you, but in order to actually defeat this boss, you need to go and shoot one of the three of the yellow exclamation marks around her, or the red one in the middle of her body, to go and open up the weak point of this boss. On an interesting note, this boss is actually used by Indie Creates in their 8-bit demake of Azure Striker Gunvolt, Mighty Gunvolt. That game goes and has one of the other apprentice angels in the game, Ekuro, as a playable character. And this stage, the school stage in Mighty Gunvolt, goes and has this enemy as the boss. Although, in that particular make of this encounter, Kaname is actually locked in a cage at the top of the room and not being carried around tentacle monster style by this plant demon monster. So, if we can go and take this boss down within the time limit. Did I hit her? I can't tell. Come on, plant boss. Die! Eat my pheromone shot. That sounds wrong. Ah, dang it, I didn't mean to hit her. Come on, there we go. And plant boss defeated. So in the case of this one, you just have to defeat the boss within the time limit, and you go and get a perfect. Perfect that one, and I think get a good score on her other mini-boss battle, as well as going and raising her affection to a certain point, and you can go and get the true end, or otherwise you'll just be destined for the good end, or even potentially a bad end. Which, we don't want bad ends. Yay! Feathers! Which are a currency that can be used to go and unlock items in the gallery. Now loading, loading and saving, loading. Alright. Well, I think that will go and wrap up my look at Galgun. I'll go and be back with some final thoughts for you here in just one moment.
There we are. Galgun served up for your enjoyment. Just a couple points to go and make about the game as far as an import is concerned. So while it is for the most part an easy game to go and pick up and play as an imported title, if you're not familiar with Japanese, there are a couple points that might prove to go and be difficult. A couple of the girls have mini-game boss-like battles that are rather dependent on language, and you have to go and be quick and go in and choosing based off of what is said and like the answers that you're going and picking. So if you don't necessarily have at least a rudimentary knowledge of Japanese, that might be difficult. As well as also the visual novel dating aspect side of it, where you have to go and pick the correct answers. Though if you really look, you can go and find guides to go and help with that. So that's something that can go and be overcome. It's just something to go and note. But that said, I feel that it's a really fun and unique rail shooter with like that touch of ecchi that if that's what you're going and looking for, there really isn't anything else out there that quite goes and matches up or is really even like Galgun. So I would go and recommend it just based off of that. So, with all the replayability that the game goes and has, all the modes that are available, there's quite a bit of work to it. It does, if you're going and looking to 100% it, but at the same time it also goes and provides tons of gameplay. So, that said, Galgun goes and receives a hearty recommendation from the chef. As always, thank you so much for going and joining me for Shoot 'em Up Saturday. And if you have any suggestions for games you'd like to go and see me play in the future, please go and leave them in the comments below. And hopefully I am able to go and get around to them in a rather quick manner. So once again, thank you so much for going and joining me, and I hope to go and see you again next week.